Now then, Engineer Michael Kamau is Kenya's Cabinet Secretary in charge of transport infrastructure. He's live in studio with us tonight. Thank you very much for your time, Engineer Kamau. Let's start with the financing aspect of this. The Railway Development Levy, one of two categories of taxes in the first quarter of the year that outperformed the target set by Treasury. But wasn't it possible to finance this entire project, at least the bulk of it really, by Kenyan taxes as opposed to debt?
Well, thank you for having me. One, a levy is very important because it's a dedicated fund and it is ring fence. When it is ring fence means it cannot be used for any other purposes. Just like I experienced with the road maintenance levy fund, there is a dedicated board that takes care of this money, and it just goes straight to the budget. It's off budget. It goes to a board, so it's a dedicated fund which cannot be used.
Right. Speaking, however, about the overall developments in the railway sector, we have started the process of building an entirely new rail line, but at the same time, the existing one is being refurbished and expanded as well. Why are we having these two projects running simultaneously instead of just focusing on one?
Now, even if we fix the meter gauge rail, which is existing, the best performance of this meter gauge, because of its gradient and the very tight curvature, it's not able to take cargo. The best performance was in 1984 when we were able to take 5.5 million tons from the port of Mombasa. Currently, the port of Mombasa is handling in excess of 22 million tons. And the road between Nairobi and Mombasa is very congested. So it was important that we do the new standard gauge rail, which will have a capacity of 28 million tons. Considering also that the discovery of oil in Turkana, there will be need for exportation of very heavy and huge equipment which cannot be handled by roads. At the moment, the road between Nairobi and Mombasa is handling 3,300 trucks, which combined together forms a convoy of over 50 kilometers every day. The road is completely congested, and hence you can see the road doesn't have that capacity, and the existing rail, even if refurbished to its best, cannot perform because the gradients are very stiff. They go up sometimes to 3%, and the curvature is very, very tight.
Right. There have been quite a few questions being asked about this project from the Attorney General's office to the Deputy President. Do you expect any legal challenges to perhaps derail this project in future?
I don't see anything derailing this project because you've explained. I've been before the Parliamentary Committee of Infrastructure where we showed how we've gone through the process. We followed the due process in this contract. Mainly what was being asked is about the cost, why or per kilometer is expensive. Not expensive, but why? That's the question that was being asked. But we are able to explain that in some places, this railway is elevated by up to 69 meters, which is about 25 floors of a building, so that we can attain the 1.2% gradient. And again, also in the Savo, a distance of 100 kilometers where it's going through a national park, it is elevated by about 14 meters above ground with viaducts for animals. And we are not allowed to carry or scoop any soil from within that park. So the shortest distance that you can dump material is 50 kilometers and probably haul material to bring in for a distance greater than 50 kilometers.
Indeed. Finally to you, Engineer Kamau, for the record, walk us through the process involved in getting this contract to build this railway to where it is today.
Basically, the process starts with the signing of an MOU and then a feasibility study, very detailed feasibility study that was carried out, and then the signing of a commercial contract, after which the process is taken to a Minister of Finance, who then apply for financing. After application for financing, the Exim Bank of China doesn't just fund. They carry out an independent feasibility study to see whether the project is viable. And all this process we've gone through, and the project is very viable, and it's able to pay the loan from its finances generating from its operations.
Indeed. Thank you very much for your time this evening, sir. Engineer Michael Kamau, the Cabinet Secretary in charge of transportation and infrastructure in Kenya, in studio with us tonight on what really is the biggest infrastructure project to be conducted in East Africa's biggest economy for the last couple of decades.